Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach, and today we have with us Charley Mann, who's the president and lead coach of Great Legal Marketing. Charley, welcome to the program.
Mike, it's awesome to be here. I'm really excited to talk with you. Anytime I get an opportunity to talk with someone who is helping out entrepreneurs, it's a good day.
Yeah, I love talking with people that we can speak the same language, marketing and specifically in the legal profession, because as you know, it's really cutthroat in any profession. So you got to stand out, and you got to stand out the right way. And whenever I think about that concept, it's like no offense to the tax people out there that have the people spitting the signs. But, if I'm a CEO of a large company, I'm not going to screech my brakes on and go, "Oh, I saw your twirling sign guy, I must have you do my taxes." So you have to stand out in a good way. So I want to talk about that today, is how you are helping your clients in the legal profession stand out, be seen, be recognized in the proper way so their brand is well respected. But before we get into that, give us a little bit of your background and then what led you to found Great Legal Marketing.
Yeah, so my background is very different probably from a lot of folks. I was a theater major in college. I was committed to, for a long time, being an artist and actor, all this other stuff. But there was actually, Mike, one thing that I wanted more than anything else, and it was to be a great husband and father and to live truly a life of autonomy. I don't really do that well with people telling me what I'm supposed to do and how it's supposed to be done necessarily. And obviously that is kind of the genesis of a lot of people opening businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs out there. And when I came out of college, I was looking for a great opportunity, something that was interesting. And the man who founded our company, Ben Glass, who's my partner in business, and he's the owner right now, he had this company, Great Legal Marketing, right? And I go and I meet him, and it was like, there's one of my friends, Brian Kurtz, who runs the Titans Mastermind group. He talks about dominoes. There are certain people who are dominoes in your life. You meet an individual who starts to just topple so many other things in your life. And for me, Ben Glass was a domino. And he opened my eyes to this world of entrepreneurship, owning a small business, coaching entrepreneurs, and it completely changed my life. And now one of my goals is to be that domino for other attorneys in their law firms, opening up a whole new world of possibilities, removing limitations, whether those are, perceived limitations or mental obstacles. That's what I do now. That's what I love to do.
Yeah, you mentioned dominoes, and it reminds me of the same kind of a concept that I've experienced in my career, which is whenever you hear a certain thing or a concept, you always attribute it back to the person you heard it from, even if they weren't the originator of it, kind of like an imprinting. And I always remember, the concept of, hey, what's everybody's favorite radio station? And I've done this in front of audiences before, and people shout out, oh, W whatever. And I'm like, nope. Everyone's favorite radio station is WIIFM. And do you know what that one is, Charley?
I don't, but I feel like I might have read this before, but it's totally slipped my memory.
So maybe you'll imprint this back to me then one day. Who knows?
What's in it for me?
But WIIFM, what's in it for me? And we as marketers can project, advertise, think about, communicate on WIIFM, what's in it for the customer? Not me as the lawyer, attorney, brand, but what's in it for my prospective audience? What do they want? And when you can deliver what they want, now they're resonating with you. They don't care about your they want to know your accolades at some point, not right off the bat. And it's not all about me. And if you go to many websites, many times it's all we do this and we do, and there's a place for that, but in balance. So I think that what you just brought up there is so super strong. So let's jump into some of the concepts that you work with some of your clients and you work with law firms. What is the first step that typically when you work with a law firm and bring them on board, what are they typically needing help with most?
Yeah, so it's interesting, Mike. There are two main categories, and you've probably encountered this all the time working with entrepreneurs and business owners. There are two primary categories that we work with. There are the six-figure firms and the seven-figure firms. And a six-figure firm, and it goes to the book Ready, Fire, Aim, or Build, Live, Give by Paul Higgins. A six-figure firm, to get to seven figures, it's predominantly a marketing and sales journey. And we're teaching them the core of how do you get more clients? How do you actually make more money? How do you scale this thing up? Because when you open a law firm, most attorneys open a law firm, and they have the product that they want to deliver. They want to create estate plans. They want to handle personal injury cases. They're going to handle bankruptcies, et cetera. So they know the product that they're going to deliver. The issue is, how do they get the people there so that way they can deliver that product? And so we solve that problem for six-figure firms and get them up to seven figures. And at the seven-figure level, it becomes more about how do we have a system that allows this to multiply on its own. We like to call it a high profit, low maintenance, self-managed practice. So those are the problems that we're first solving for. At six figures, it's marketing sales. At seven figures, we're looking at where is, frankly, the owner of the practice getting in the way? What are they holding on to that they need to let go of? And that's the first examination that we're going to do in a seven-figure practice. That's where it all begins.
Well, I like that kind of juxtaposition, because if you don't have the right foundation at the six-figure level, then if you throw grease on the fire or really start amplifying scaling, now the foundation isn't set and you're going to implode potentially, or you're not going to grow at the scale and the efficiency you could be. So sure, where am I getting in the way and have the processes, but boy, you better have that foundation down pat at the six-figure level so that as you scale and grow, now it's easy and manageable. Is that kind of one of the aspects you see as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do like a health check, what we call a health diagnostic on a law firm as well. And we use tools like monitoring revenue per employee numbers to check to see where's the health level of this firm. A lot of times we encounter firms that are overstaffed and or understaffed. And if you have an overstaffed firm, you're going to have trouble reinvesting back into the practice to grow it. So when we go to you and we say, hey, there's a referral campaign that you need to launch, or Google ads, or whatever the million different marketing options are, you're going to say, well, I don't have the money for that. And that's the sign of an unhealthy practice. On the other side, we get a lot of firm owners who come to us, interestingly, and they have extremely awesome, you could say, revenue per employee, but they're wondering why they can't grow. Well, the issue is, Mike, of course, in a law firm and a lot of other service businesses, your product comes from the people inside the practice. And so at that point, we're saying you can't grow, because if you bring on a new client, you don't have the time to do it. You need to start hiring people to handle more of the work in the practice for you. That's going to unlock growth for you. So we love using those types of tools to diagnose problems in firms. And it gives them then, Mike, a concrete way to measure their progress. They can look at it and say, okay, well, here's my revenue per employee right now. I know that if I want to grow, I'm actually going to have to decrease my revenue per employee because I'm investing back into the business. And I'm scaling up with more people. On the other hand, if I'm trying to maximize profit, great. Now I'm figuring out, how do I raise my revenue per employee?
Yeah. And I think that using the age-old analogy of the bucket with the holes in it, you can't just say, we want to grow our practice, so let's throw more water in the bucket, which means more leads, more revenue, because it could be flowing right back out the back end. And the back end might be whatever, how you manage money. It might be how you manage employee, all those things you just mentioned. So it's not just the simple aspect of give me more, more, more. It's like, let's make it more efficient so that when more does come in, now it's being retained well, managed well, the client experience, I mean, you think about something too. You might have, do you watch The Profit with Marcus Lemonis?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, good. Thank you. Because so many times people are like, who? I'm like, that is such an awesome show. You get so many business lessons from him. But, one of his points with people, process, and product, the people, you might have all the great legal knowledge in the world and all the great marketing. And all of a sudden now the people, even your front desk person could just be so caustic and turning people away, or the experience working with whoever, the paralegals, the attorneys, whatever the process is, might be like, ugh. And now you're putting more and more effort into bringing new leads in, and you feel like you're winning, but now the experience isn't good, which means the word of mouth isn't good, which means the reviews don't turn good. So it really is this holistic approach, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting, Mike, because you have, the three core elements of most businesses. I realize other people have different ways they look at it. This is the way I look at it, and I've found it very helpful for our members. It's marketing, it's operations, it's finance. And sort of amusingly, I like to say that the job of marketing is to create problems for operations, because they bring in so many clients that operations has to figure it out. Then operations' job is to create problems for finance, in that they have to figure out where are our efficiencies. How do we use tools like revenue per employee? How do we use cost of acquisition? How are we monitoring this and reinvesting profit? And then finance's job is then to go to marketing and say, hey, I've got problems for you. We need to improve our cost per acquisition. You also need to double leads, because this is the objective that we're trying to reach. And as long as we are continually, and no one likes this point of view sometimes, as long as we are continually creating problems for the next department and aiming to solve those, of course, that's actually a growing business. But isn't that just the toughest part of being an entrepreneur? Is to grow, you have to create problems, and you have to embrace that being a problem solver is your forever role as an entrepreneur, plain and simple. And it doesn't matter if you're a law firm or if you're selling bath towels or candles, or you're an auto mechanic. That is how business grows, is you create problems for yourself and then you solve them.
It's like Tony Robbins teaches, and I've heard in his programs years and years ago, CANI, C-A-N-I. Have you heard that one before?
No, I'm not personally familiar with that one.
Constant and never-ending improvement. So you're saying creating problems to solve. Good, fine. Let's not be satisfied with the status quo. You're always constantly and never-ending looking for and finding ways to improve. Well, good, because probably by the time you get through all the departments and you fine-tune and polish and tweak and improve, then you go back to the first department you started with, and there's some things it's just never going to end, and it never should end. And I think that, to me, is one of the exciting parts about entrepreneurship, business owner, because it's a very creative process. It's not so linear that you just go 1 + 1 = 2 and yay, now here we go. Because we're talking about law firms, but there's a lot of creativity in marketing or bringing your solutions in your law firm to your clients. So I think that approach, that mindset of finding problems, creating problems, and never being satisfied with status quo ties into, hey, do you want happy customers? And people are like, yeah. No, you don't. You don't want happy customers. You want raving fans. And what can you do to create those raving fans, right? Well, constant, never-ending, finding problems, creating solutions, tweaking, and listening, right?
I always like to bring personal health and fitness into the conversation whenever possible, because everyone can understand that journey. So if you're someone who's committed to getting stronger, just getting more physically fit, that is a process of putting new stresses onto your body in order to induce improvement. It's running faster than you are comfortable with running, so that way the next time you can run even a little bit faster as you continue to push your boundaries. Lifting heavier weight. The way to lift heavier weight is to lift heavier weight, obviously. Within certain reason, don't grab a 1,000-pound barbell right now and try and shoot your spine out your back. Yeah. But you then can find other ways to stress the body in order to improve. An entrepreneur who is serious about growing their business, a law firm owner who's serious about growing the practice, you look at ways to stress the business, and then you solve it. This drives some people crazy. This is why some people are not necessarily cut out for it. But other people, when they see a problem, they get excited by it. They're like, yes, I'm going to figure out a solution. I'm going to find the resource, whether it's a person in the practice, it's, finding an expert like you, Mike, to maybe help with positioning and authority. And great, I'm going to solve that problem. And by the way, every problem has been solved. This is the other great thing. Every problem that you encounter as an entrepreneur, someone else has dealt with it. And you can find an expert to help you with taking care of the problem.
And well, I love your example about the fitness, because it's kind of like if you wanted to increase your whatever bench press, and you can bench press right now 100 pounds for 10 reps. And let's say you did that twice a week for the next 6 months. Same weight, same reps. Not much happens. Maybe a little tone, but you're certainly not going to increase your strength. So to your point, you need to go, okay, let me add 5 pounds here, and let me add one more repetition. Let me add 10 pounds. And it's got to be slow, and it can't be too fast, because using the analogy of fitness, I've said this for years. It's funny you brought that up. Hey, if you're not fit and you want to get fit and you don't work out at all, I'm going to show you a 3-hour workout that you're going to do 6 days a week. You're never going to continue doing that. Well, first of all, you should never do 3-hour workouts 6 days a week, but you're never, ever, ever going to follow that. It needs to be sane and attainable. Well, in business, you might hear some of these top producing agencies that go, well, here's what we do. And if you are starting off, you cannot jump into that, because you will not be able to follow that consistently. So yes, you need to be tapping into mentors and maybe masterminds and listening to what best practices are. And boy, don't take the road of, I can just figure it out. Let me Google it. Let me do it myself. You know, the highest and best use of your time, Mr. or Ms. Attorney agency owner, is not to go figure it out on your own. It's to go, you know what? I want the person that knows the path, and let me just follow them and kind of make some tweaks here and there. Show me the way, guide me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's what I want. I don't want to make mistakes and stumble.
Yeah, and it's so important to find those people in your life, going back to the original idea, to find the dominoes in your life, the people who break open new opportunities for you. And it's important that an entrepreneur or law firm owner knows the area. This is actually one of the other interesting struggles of being an entrepreneur is, yes, you want financial people to be handling your finances. You want your accountant to do the accounting. You want a bookkeeper to handle stuff. You may have a personal financial advisor. You may have a CFO in your company who's handling high-level financial information. But as an entrepreneur, at some point or another, you've got to learn some of these things yourself, because there's no substitute for being informed and being able to ask the right questions. This is one of the things that we focus on so much with members. They want to go and find, say, a search engine optimization company to help them boost their website, rank on Google. I always tell them, before you do that, you need to be able to understand how this works. You don't have to master it. You don't need to know all the intimate things about HTML coding, header tags, and how you can structure links and yada, yada. But you better have the basics in your head, because otherwise someone's going to sell you some crock of nonsense because they're going to make it sound so good, and you don't have any detector in your head to go, wait, this sounds contrary to what I know to be true. So this is why we want business owners, law firm owners, to know the practice. For our 6-figure firms, we focus on the idea of you have to be your chief marketing officer in the practice. You already know your product, but you need to master your marketing, become the chief marketing officer. 7-figure firm, now we're elevating you to CEO. And a CEO may have a COO, may have a CFO, but you better believe that they know about the operations, they know about the finance, they know about the marketing.
100%. I mean, you said it so well. It's like, for one thing, an attorney has a couple letters after their name that sets their expertise apart. Wonderful to the general public. But you Google or look around, and how many competitors do they have? There's a lot of people that have JD after their name in personal injury in whatever city you're in. So now that just gets you into the ball game. Now you better stand out, and you better be seen as that expert, so that your prospective clients can come to you and listen to what you have to say, viewing it not as a sales pitch, but as a consultation and as a please guide me. So that's a whole mindset shift. And I like your approach. It's not just these shiny objects and tactics of, like you mentioned, SEO, reputation, or whatever the case is. It's the strategy first. Strategy comes first. And, you mentioned ready, fire, aim. And I've said that so many times. It's like strategy, tactics, and then execution. You need to have the strategy first, and then start looking at the tactics. And then guess what? Now you can execute.
Yes, 100%. Your responsibility as the owner is to you never give someone the strategy. You never have someone come in and say, you know what, Here's your messaging. Here's all of the different platforms that we're going to use. You need to know this stuff. You need to be the master of your destiny, that chief marketing officer. We start people with the idea of what we call a standout advantage, which is part of positioning. And it's what separates you from the rest of the pack. Because you're right, Mike, there's a bunch of people who have JD after their name. So how do we make it? And they don't know how to compare one JD to another, by the way. They're not, unless it's like high-end corporate law, they're not going, well, I want the Harvard guy. You're an attorney. They're just going to assume you're an attorney. The JD, the Esquire, doesn't really change their mind. But when you have a way to connect with them, a way that you are able to both solve problems and speak to their intimate needs and to who they are as people, maybe just things that they like. Maybe, dog people like to hire dog people, for example. Yeah. And so how do you put that forward? How do you make that what we call your...
Well, interestingly enough, and I know we could go on for hours on this because it's really exciting.
Sure.
But here in Denver, there's a group of attorneys that they have billboards and advertising, and they always are on motorcycles. And it's like, hey, come on and ride with us. And it's like these... whatever you call, I'm not into motorcycles, but it's like these, the street bikes where you just go on long up in the mountains, and it's like, wow, if I ride motorcycles and I have a legal need, that's who I'm going to. Now, who the heck, it doesn't matter that you are an attorney and ride a motorcycle or vice versa, but it's that connection factor. So, and it is not a boilerplate, fill in the blank, drop down. It's hard to come up with. You cannot just go, how can I be all things to all people? Then you're nothing to anybody. So you need to have a guide, someone like yourself that can sit down with that agency owner and go, hey, listen, let's talk about your practice and what could we make as your thing. And I don't care if it's badminton or whatever. And you don't have to do that, but you need to have these little story hooks and ways that you communicate to your target audience. So I applaud that. That's a really great mindset.
Yeah, it's just so important that you get down these core things before you go and get the Google ads, before you run the social media, just organic posts, that you have the core thing that your business does and what separates. I love that motorcycle example, because here's the mistake that a lot of people make with this, and I'm sure you know this, Mike, is they think that by choosing a lane that they will alienate a bunch of other people. Here's the truth. You're only going to alienate a very small group. Like, there will be a certain number of people who look at attorneys on motorcycles and they go, that's not professional enough.
Yeah.
Well, what they do? Because you're going to have a whole host of high net worth individuals, people who'd be great clients who don't ride motorcycles, but look at it and go, man, I wish I were brave enough to get out on a motorcycle. It's something I've wanted to do my whole life. Yeah, that's really cool, and that will put them in that.
Or they'll go, oh, they look. I'm not a motorcycle guy, but hey, they look fun. So yes, I would say before you turn your nose up at something like that, unless it's why don't you dress up on the side of the road and do spinny signs? I mean, come on, there's cheesy things too. But before you turn your nose up at something, look at the proof in other industries or your industry across the country, because it may very well be, wow, that thing is working for attorneys across the country. And no one in my region is doing this. Let's have me start doing whatever this thing is. So as with anything in marketing, test it. Give it the old college try and see what turns up in metrics. And I was just this morning talking with a client. We launched a big program, and the metrics are looking really good the first 2 weeks in. But guess what? We're going to tweak this one little thing right here, because we looked at the video sales letter on the landing page, and we looked at the Wistia stats. And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, what if we just rearrange this and shortened it up? And now let's test it. Well, these little things could be a big, and once you've got that dialed in, then you just keep plugging away. So I think we could talk forever, but Charley, I'd like to just ask this. If someone is listening going, you know what, a couple of these things just resonated with me here, what's the best way they should reach out, connect with you guys, pick up anything that you could provide to them that could help educate them on how they could grow their legal practice?
Absolutely. So if someone's really turned on by the idea of, especially the marketing discussion we've been having, get the book Renegade Lawyer Marketing. It's available on Amazon. You can also go to greatlegalmarketing.com And we have the book available free on there for those who want to go ahead and download it. But look, I'm a physical book guy, so I'd recommend grabbing a copy on Amazon. But also go to greatlegalmarketing.com because there are resources there, free resources for attorneys to get started in figuring out how can they make an impact in their firm in the next 5 days, whether it's the marketing, operations, or the finance. Grab one of our reports, one of our webinars, and dig in starting there. We also have memberships, and we like to say, you mentioned mastermind groups earlier, Mike. So we have mastermind groups for both of the different sizes of firms, and we love working with those folks. I do private coaching as well, but start at greatlegalmarketing.com, and we like to say we help great lawyers be great business owners, and that's what we're going to do for them.
Awesome. Well, Charley, thanks so much for coming on today. It was really a pleasure talking with you.
You as well, Mike. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.